Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the Crystal Crawford Show. I'm live on Instagram and Facebook, and my heater is on. Let me turn that off. I always want these to be perfect, but what the hell does that mean? Hi, how are you guys? So, I called this week's episode Love, Sex, Jealousy, and Peace. I went looking for a title that was more clever than that, and we were into so many different insanities that I just was like, let's keep this simple. We're going to name this the name of the 4 distractor implants that we're going to talk about today, and sit back and enjoy the ride. I want to preface everything that I'm about to talk about by saying that this is as much of a study for me as it's going to be for you. I'm using very prolifically the book Living Beyond Distraction to have this conversation with you here today. So pick it up, Living Beyond Distraction. It is a game-changing book. If you are into consciousness for yourself at all, if you are into total awareness, you need this book. Game-changing. So love, sex, jealousy, and peace are 4 of a list of 24 distractor implants. Now, I picked this 4 because it's after Valentine's Day, and my partner and I had a really beautiful day yesterday until the end. And then it got really fucking weird, and I didn't get very much sleep. Now, I'm not blaming anybody, man. I do distractor implant reality just as much as anybody in particular areas, and there's certain things that trip up my unconsciousness more than other things, and relationship for me is definitely one of those things. Included in a relationship is sex and copulation, right? Um, so I had a moment last night and I took myself off to the other bedroom and I slept in the other room. And so, don't let all the nice fluffy social media posts make you think that, we don't deal with unconscious shit, because we definitely do. So I was really looking this morning for change. You know, my overarching desire with being a person on the planet is to like actually be the kindness that I am, and to actually be the gentleness that I am, and the gratitude and all that stuff. But sometimes I got to get vulnerable with where I am not choosing that and for what reason. So I went looking for what I was functioning from that I felt like I couldn't change in that moment. And this is where we got into the distractor implant conversation. Now there's 24 of these fuckers, okay? I'm gonna tell you what they are, and then I'm going to tell you what a distractor implant is. And then we're going to dive into love, sex, jealousy, and peace in particular. All right. So anger, rage, fury, and hate, blame, shame, regret, and guilt, love, sex, jealousy, and peace, addictive, compulsive, obsessive, perverted points of view, um, fear, doubt, business and relationship, life, living, death, and reality. Now, all of these things are designed to take you out of having choice and out of being you. All of them. And if you slow down what I said, or you go pick up this book and you actually put a list of distractor implants in front of you, which is what I really recommend that you do, you're going to recognize that you are likely in a distractor implant, like 9 times out of 10 when you're struggling with something. And one of the sure ways that I know I'm in one is when I'm looping in something. So I can't seem to fix it. I can't get out of it. My head is tripping. I'm like creating scenarios in my head and then answering myself. Like, I know I'm in a distractor implant when I am not being interesting point of view. That's probably the simple version. Now, interesting point of view is in the 10 keys to total freedom. It's like where everything's just interesting. It's just interesting what that other person's choosing. It's just interesting what happened. It's just interesting that I want this. Everything's just an interesting point of view. When I'm not being that, like, I'm in a distractor implant. Simple as that. So here's the thing about distractor implants. There is no fixing them. There's no figuring it out. You don't actually have a relationship problem. You can't go talk it out and make it better, although you may need to have a conversation just to like repair whatever damage was done, right? But there's no like, okay, now we need to communicate and resolve this sort of psychotherapy stuff. That doesn't work for distractor implants. The only thing that changes them is recognizing that it's a distractor implant and then pock and potting it, which is everything this is, right, wrong, good, bad, POC, online, shorts, boys and beyonds, okay? So let's get into these particular set. And I love that he grouped them in four because the groupings that he created or he became aware of or whatever do really, really, really tie into each other. So this group of four is love and sex, jealousy, and peace. I think it's so fascinating that peace is in there. And so I was really reading this morning about like, why is peace in here? You'll find out. This is very good. Love has about 8 trillion definitions. Now, this is out of the book, Living Beyond Distraction. So when you say, I love you to somebody, they actually have no idea what you're talking about. They think they have an idea of what you're talking about because from their point of view, love means X, Y, and Z. It doesn't have anything to do with what your point of view or definition of love is. And man, is that one of the things that I've become aware of in this relationship in particular over the last year and a half is like, we are all functioning from our own reality. We are all functioning from whatever it is we've decided love is, whatever it is we've decided sex should be, etc. Right? And the more I've been getting that, the more I've been really wondering of like, the more I've been getting that, hand in hand with that has come from the more I've been getting that I thought we were all on the same page. Now, I know that sounds, I don't know how that sounds to you. To me, I'm like, well, duh. Like I hear myself say that and I recognize that I've been doing it and I'm like to myself, well, yeah, duh. Everybody's functioning from what they're functioning from. It's not like you guys are all the same person. But to really, really get it, like in the cells of my being, that we are all functioning from something totally different has taken so much time. It's so insidious to walk around thinking that everybody else functions from the point of view that you do. And if you do not pay attention, which I have spent many years not paying attention to what's really true in this other person's world where they're really functioning from, then you're just going to project onto them that, of course, they function the same way you do. That's just what we do. We're like, wait, you don't have the same point of view I do? Wait, what? So as I'm like pulling all this apart for myself, I'm like, okay, cool. So I say I love you means something totally different from when he says it, from when you say it. You know, I also say I love French fries. That's different, right? Okay, so that's love. There's so much in this chapter. I want to read the whole thing to you. We're not going to do that. But let me run this clearing, okay? Everything you've done to create love as a distractor implant of the entire universe. Will you now? Everything you've done to create love as a distractor implant of the entire universe, which keeps you from actually having any awareness. This is the thing. When you buy into love as a distractor implant and you don't get that the true energy is gratitude, man, you have no awareness of where anybody's functioning from. So you just get to be like battered around by what they're choosing because you've chosen to be unaware. So everything you've done to create love as a distractor implant of the entire universe, which keeps you from actually having any awareness, will you now destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, online, shorts, boys, and beyond. That's the clearing statement. Go to theclearingstatement.com if you need to find out more about that weird ass effective tool. Dane here is the co-creator of Access, and he says in this book, we tend to create love as so valuable that we would rather have the love and the confusion. Pardon me while my Okay, good, we're back. Sorry, I will remember not to wear my AirPods because my face moves too much next time. All right, so we tend to create love as so valuable that we would rather have the love and the confusion that goes with it rather than the clarity and the space that comes from awareness. We tend to create love as so valuable that we would rather have the love and the confusion that goes with it rather than the space and the clarity that comes with awareness. Holy shit. And Gary said here, that's the idea with these distractor implants. They are designed to create a place where you have no clue what you're actually asking for. So like you get into this relationship and you're like, yes, I want somebody who loves me and cares about me for who I am and sees me, and we have no idea what the fuck we're saying. We don't know what we're saying. So Gary runs this clearing and he goes, all the things you've asked for that cannot be delivered, will you please destroy and uncreate all that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay. So that's a massive topic. Let's just jump into jealousy. Just little snippets here. Jealousy goes back to Saint Jealous the Divine. which was a cult about never allowing anything to change. Now, if you look at what you get jealous about, it's like if your partner is flirting with somebody else, or, and you go into all the what could happen and all that stuff, right? The thing that you're trying to hold in place is everything you've decided this relationship is, right? That's jealousy. The thing of jealousy is like nothing can change. It all has to stay this way, and I have to control it into not changing. Okay. So let's run this real quick. This will be fun. All the O's, all of you who have taken oaths, vows, swearings, fealties, communalties, and commitments to Saint Jealous and Divine, will you now destroy it and create all that times a gazillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all made shorts, boys, and beyonds. All right. So go read more about that. If jealousy is your thing, this is a thing. But let's talk about sex real quick, okay? Sex is what? I'm just going to throw things and hit things while I'm talking. Sex is when you're walking tall, looking good, feeling good, and strutting your stuff. It is not about the copulation you have. Unfortunately, most of us define sex as copulation. Whenever you define copulation as sex, you have to, of necessity, make yourself wrong for looking good, feeling good, or strutting your stuff. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy it and create it all. Wow. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, on land shorts, boys, and beyonds. And everywhere you bought, oh wait, first I have to read this. Dane said, everybody has the point of view that putting the body parts together is sex, but how much of a copulation have you have had in your life felt like it created more space and more desire to look good and feel good and to strut your stuff? And how much of it created less? So what he's saying is like all the sex that you've had, of all the sex you've had, how much of it made you feel awesome after, and how much of it made you feel like shit? So everything you bought that less equals sex, and everywhere you denied that looking good, feeling good, strutting your stuff, and being expansive was actually truthness, will you destroy and create all that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, online shorts, boys, and beyonds. Like, I'm jealous of that person who has more. That's envy. We've misidentified jealousy and envy. Right? When you see somebody that has more and you've got envy going on, that's different than jealous of your mate or whoever you're with, like talking to somebody else or being a person. Okay. Envy is actually the invitation to go, I'll have that. Fuck that shit, I'll have that. Okay. So envy is an invitation. Okay. Now this is the kicker, right? We have love, sex, jealousy, which are huge. Please, we could do like a year on those topics. Then we have peace. Peace is lumped in with those four. That's interesting. The thing that holds all of this in existence is peace. Now, I was like, what do you mean? Where do you see peace existing on planet Earth? You don't, do you? Peace doesn't exist anywhere except in nature, where there are no people. So everywhere in the human race where peace is what you're seeking and peace is what you're not having, will you destroy it and create all that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, online shorts, boys, and beyonds. The thing about peace that's unique and true is the basic being of you as a being. You have a sense of peace, and with peace comes joy and possibility. So why is peace a distractor implant? This is so good. Because instead of having peace with what is, you try to create a problem so you have something to overcome, so you can discover the peace you think you'll have if you overcome the problem. I'm just going to let that sit right there. What? Why is peace a distractor implant? Instead of having peace with what is. So let's look at this. What is? Great question. What is? What's true about your partner? What's true about you? What's really true here? Like that's what I was looking at this morning. As I was muddling through everything I'd created and what had gotten created, and I was like, gosh, what's really true here? And one of the things that was going on for me is I was fighting what is. Internally, I was fighting what is. And I've been asking for a lot of awareness, period. I could probably put a period there. But I've also been really looking for the awareness of, where people are functioning from. because I've spent a lot of my life not wanting to know that. And so I'm asking for it now. Now, the thing about getting awareness of where people function from is that you get awareness of the good, the bad, and the ugly. People don't just function from good shit, and they don't just function from bad shit, and they don't just function from ugly shit, and neither do you. You function from good and bad and ugly too. So you are not just a nice little angel, little metaphysical chickie. I don't know where that came from. You are also an asshole. You are also greedy. You're all these energies. We are all these energies. And the ones we judge the most are the ones that we are, that we judge about ourselves, that we're not willing to be. So it just creates this whole shit show. So when you're willing to know everything about you, good, bad, and ugly, you're willing to receive it all. You're willing to receive it all about the people that you're with. Then you have freedom and you have choice. I actually just had a really amazing session yesterday with actually somebody who works with me. And she and I have really been looking at this thing of what are you not willing to be aware of about other people? And she works with horses, which is so great because horses reflect back to you what it is you're hiding from yourself. So if a horse is doing something weird with you, you always can look back into your world and go, okay, what is this for me? What am I doing with this? Fucking great thing about horses. So anyway, so this horse was being this in this particular way, and we started looking at that. And what was coming up around the horse was the same thing she was doing with people, which is that she wasn't willing to be aware of where this person or this being was functioning from. She didn't want to know that. So she'd get the awareness of where they were functioning from. She'd get the awareness of all the good, bad, and the ugly. And that's what happens with awareness. You get an instant download. And then she would go into right after that, this, oh, but that's okay, but we can change it and we can do this and we can do this, instead of getting present with, what is this? What do I do with it? Anything? Can I change it? No. Oh, okay, cool. Or yes, and if so, if I can, how, right? So instead of pausing to get present with what she became aware of, she would take herself out of presence and out of awareness into, it's okay, we can change it and we can do this and we can do this. Never once looking for if that person actually wanted to change anything, and never wanting to be aware of the fact that they didn't want to change it. And that was what she was using to fight the awareness, was this cheerleading, okay, it's okay, we can go further and we can do more, instead of getting present with, this is what it is and they have no interest in changing it, and this is what it is. And there's so much about so many people, for me, that the moment I got aware of it, I would go in to fight around. And here is my justification for fighting it, because I know so much more is possible. And I want to choose more. I want to go beyond into non-contextual reality. I want total choice, total freedom. But does everybody? No. Is they like, what percentage of people on the planet are even interested in total choice and total freedom? Not that many. And a lot of those people that, aren't that interested in that have been close to me in terms of family and friends and things. And so, that's put me face to face with that piece of information, which is like, which in moments has been really disappointing and in other moments sad. I've done different things with that information. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, okay. And it's also put me face to face with how different I am. And that's the thing that I've refused more than anything else, is like, I don't want to be, I'm so like, holy fuck, I'm so different. And once I got over that, I got to start to look at, okay, so I'm so different. So what choices do I have here that nobody else has? And what choices do I have in this situation? And like, and that right there, that conversation that you have with yourself right there is what's beyond all distractor implants. When you get into when you create a problem, and listen, to have a problem, you have to have created a problem. That's the only way to have a problem. So what I mean is, like, when you create a problem, which is the only way a problem can exist, by the way, what you're doing is you are taking yourself out of the awareness you just got. So I've been so aware of this, and I've been working with myself on this. And so last night, as I was creating this problem, I saw myself doing it and da-da-da. And I've been with it all day. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I did that. Now what? And that's when I really realized it's like, it's the awareness that I don't want to be with. I don't want to be with the awareness. Why? I don't know. I don't have any good reasons. I'd have to make some up. I just don't want to be with that. I don't want the awareness to be what it is. But if I wasn't resisting the awareness and I could just receive it as information and it didn't have any form or structure and significance, and it was just an interesting point of view, like what could we choose and what could I choose and what could I create here? That's the beyond the distractor implant conversation. Because now in that conversation, nobody's wrong and nobody's right. It's just is. And also it's my awareness just for me, just for fun, never tell anybody. It's not even for anybody else's ears. It's just what I became aware of. Now, if I go into judgment about the awareness, then I'm in the distractor implant, which I did. I did that. I did that. I do that. I go into judgment. I like to fight. So, but the coolest thing about consciousness is like consciousness includes everything and doesn't judge. So I'm included right there. And that's allowance for you, right? You just recognize where you're at with all this and go, okay, cool. I like to fight. But what if I didn't? What if I could just be with this? What else is possible that I haven't considered? Great question. What else is possible that I haven't considered? What's available here that I've never explored? So back to peace. Peace is a distractor implant because instead of having peace with what is, right? Instead of having peace with everything you just became aware of, you instantly, and this happens in microseconds, people. I mean, this is fast. You instantly go into creating a problem so that you have something to overcome, so that you can discover the peace you think you will have if you overcome the problem. So everything that is times a godzillion, can we destroy it and create it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, walk, all nine shorts, poison, beyond. Whenever you are trying to have a sense of peace, you are trying to create a place where you feel okay about what is going on in your life. So whenever you're trying to have a sense of peace like that, you're doing acceptance, which is not allowance. Allowance is where just everything's just interesting. Wow, I just got a whole download. Okay, cool. It's just interesting. But acceptance is where you do peace, right? You're trying to have a sense of peace. You're trying to be okay with it. It's where you feel good about what is happening in your life and you feel like you don't have to throw any attention at it, which means you don't have to have any awareness. And when you don't have awareness, do you have possibility and choice, question and contribution? No. So everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy it and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all name shorts, poison, beyond. Peace is the key that locks you up in all these other places because you don't actually believe that peace exists. But peace doesn't actually exist as a concept on planet Earth. Where do you see peace occurring? Only in nature is there a sense of peace. And even in that peace, there's violence. Peace does not exclude violence because peace is a part of oneness and violence is a part of oneness as well. And in a sense of peace, there is always a balance of nature, which is a concept that doesn't exist on this planet. In the human race, everybody is supposed to live, everybody's supposed to have peace, everybody's supposed to not suffer, and all that stuff. Is that what the world, the universe, the reality is? Where are you buying a different point of view? So everything you've done to buy a different point of view about peace, will you destroy and create all that times a godzillion? Wow. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Peace is one of the things that creates us not recognizing that we actually have choice. So when you're committed to keeping the peace, when you think there should be peace, when you projected and expected that there should be peace and there's not peace and so therefore there's a problem, do you like all of a sudden you're into the invented reality of problems that you then have to go fix, which doesn't work. None of it works. You're into the distractor implant universe, which is this Mobius strip. Okay. Peace is one of the things that creates us not recognizing that we actually have choice. If you say the world should be peaceful, meaning that nobody should ever hurt and there should never be any sadness or unhappiness, you're not acknowledging that the people who are having sadness and unhappiness, the people who are experiencing abuse and violence and all those things are actually choosing it and they like it. Every one of these distractor implants is designed to create you as the victim. Could you, as an infinite being, truly be a victim? Nope. You have to work at it. So everywhere you've been using. So how much energy have you been using to work at being a victim have you been choosing? And everything that is times Godzilla when you destroy it and create it all. Ugh, right, wrong, goodbye, pop, pop, online shorts, boys and beyonds. All right. My God. Y'all, I'm in there with ya. All right. And there's so many other things in here. I'm flipping through because I want to read you this mammoth clearing. And then I'm going to give you 4 pieces of actionable steps. Okay. Here's this mama bear clearing. What physical, this is huge. Okay. I'll post this in the show notes for you. What physical actualization of the never-ending disease of the lie and truth of peace are you not acknowledging as the perfection of the creation and the destruction simultaneously of love, sex, and jealousy as the total and absolute diminishment of the human race into oblivion and annihilation of being? Everything that is times a Godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, goodbye, pop, pop, all night shorts, boys and beyond. So my invitation to you today is to put that on a voice loop. If you guys have an iPhone, there is an app called Voice Loop. Like, breathe this into that and play it for the next 10 years. What physical actualization of the never-ending disease of the lie and truth of peace are you not acknowledging as the perfection of the creation and the destruction simultaneously of love, sex, and jealousy as the total and absolute diminishment of the human race into oblivion and annihilation of being? Everything that is times Godzilla when you destroy and create it all. Right, wrong, goodbye, pop, pop, all night shorts. Okay. So I'm going to wrap this up with some actionable things for you to do, okay? First of all, loop that clearing. Not even kidding. Second of all, buy this book, Living Beyond Distraction, and make this your Bible, okay? Third of all, watch out for the Salon de la Consciousness that I'm starting because we're going to do a study group on the distractor implants for the next 24 weeks as soon as I get it launched. The third thing. Fourth thing is this. Gary says this. He had this in the book, in this chapter, he had this epiphany that his definition of family was different than like his stepson's definition of family. Okay. And he had this epiphany. He's like, hold on. Wow, my definition of family is not a true definition. It's just my definition. So here's the 4 questions to ask yourself. And I'm going to be really playing with these. What is my definition of this? What is my definition of relationship? Put what is my definition and then put in what is my definition of relationship? What is my definition of sex? What is my definition of love? What is my definition of peace? Okay. The second question is, what is the other person's definition? Now, these are for you, just for fun. These are for you to get awareness. Okay. What is the real definition? And what would be a different definition? What is my definition? What is the other person's definition? What is the real definition? And what would be a different definition? Okay? Because guess what? Reality is also a distractor implant. It's not real. Reality is not real. It's mutable. It's changeable. We can just change it. We can just have whatever reality we want. It's a lot of freedom. So to start to give you access to that level of freedom, you got to start to look at, okay, what are all my definitions here? What are their definitions? What's the actual definition? And what would be a different definition? What's actually possible here that I haven't considered? Okay. So that's homework, I think 4, maybe 5. And the 5th or 6th, whatever number it is to really, really, really pay attention, write out the distractor implants, okay? Write them all out, put them on a sticky note near you. And when you see you're doing one, just go, all the distractor implants, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. All the distractor implants, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Start to give yourself some space from these things because they're so insidious and they wrap, once you're in one, you're in all of them. They just connect together and you're just in this never-ending loop of insanity. How does it get better than that? So, cool. Hopefully this was helpful. And how does it get better than this? And what is possible with relationships and being with each other that we've never considered before? And what can we start to choose and really ask, be aware of. That will give us access to more of us. Okay? That's my ask. What's yours? And how does it get better than this? You're a gift to this planet. I adore you. And if this was helpful, share it with a friend. And otherwise, I will see you guys next week.